Are Mass Effect 3's endings all the same? Do war assets and your choices throughout the game actually matter? Is life pointless and meaningless? We'll be discussing all these things and more in today's video. There are timestamps in the description if you want to skip to or past a particular section of the discussion. Keep watching to see it all. What's up everyone? Big Dan here, and before we begin, I have a bunch of different Mass Effect Trilogy guides and lore videos on my channel, so if you're interested in seeing more, hit that subscribe button. Without further ado, let's dive right in. This is the first video in a series I'll be doing on Mass Effect 3's endings over the next few weeks. To say that Mass Effect 3's endings were controversial and disappointing to many fans of the franchise would be a massive understatement. Mass Effect 3's legacy is inextricably linked to the game's ending. I often receive comments about the ending on my Mass Effect 3 videos, even if the topic of the video is completely unrelated to the trilogy's final moments. One of the most common criticisms I see about Mass Effect 3's endings is that they are all identical, essentially nullifying any choices or decisions the player made throughout the trilogy. This criticism can take a number of different forms, from stating plainly that all endings are the same, to comments about how war assets don't matter, the implication being that no matter how many war assets you obtain, it doesn't really matter since all the endings are the same anyway. So are all the endings to Mass Effect 3 identical, or is this an oversimplification that doesn't hold up to scrutiny? When Mass Effect 3 launched in March 2012, there were 3 different endings to the game, crystallized in the game's final choice: Destroy, Control, and Synthesis. A 4th choice, Refusal, was added later as part of the Extended Cut DLC. I'll talk about the DLC a little later in this video, but I won't be covering the Refusal ending since it essentially just means letting the Reapers win the war. In the Destroy ending, Shepard activates the Crucible to dispense a burst of energy that wipes out the Reapers, but also creates a lot of collateral damage and destruction. The Crucible is a blunt instrument and targets all advanced synthetic life forms, including EDI, the Geth, and even Shepard because of the commander's cybernetic enhancements. In the Control ending, Shepard is transformed into an engram and takes the place of the Star Child, seizing control of the Reapers in the process. Shepard's physical form dies, but the commander lives on as an artificial intelligence, directing the Reapers for the benefit of organic and synthetic life. In the Synthesis ending, Shepard activates the Crucible to merge all organic and synthetic life forms throughout the galaxy. Shepard dies in the process, but peace and harmony is achieved through this new synthesis. On paper, these endings all seem radically different. So why do people say they're all the same? Well, it has to do with the ending cutscenes that players experienced when the game launched in March 2012. Regardless of which ending you chose, the cutscene you would experience was nearly identical, except for the color of the energy dispensed from the Crucible: red for Destroy, blue for Control, and green for Synthesis. This led to a lot of different memes and left players feeling like nothing they did throughout the trilogy had any impact in the last moments of the finale. The fan backlash was so severe that Bioware decided to release an updated version of the endings as free DLC in July 2012. This download was called the Extended Cut DLC and included several additional scenes and an epilogue sequence that fleshed out the endings. Creative director Casey HUDSON expanded on Bioware's decision to release the Extended Cut during an interview posted on the official Mass Effect YouTube channel in June 2012.
People wanted to actually see how their decisions resulted in consequences to the future of the Mass Effect universe. So players made a lot of big decisions throughout Mass Effect 3, leaving the story with literally millions of different permutations on the final state of the galaxy. But the original scenes in the game didn't go into detail about speculating on that future, so the endings left a lot to the player's imagination. So the Extended Cut is not a set of different endings, but rather it's an expansion of the original story. So we're trying to put on the screen what we imagined was implied by the original endings and address a lot of the feedback and the questions that we've received.
If you've played Mass Effect 3 since July 2012, then you've most likely experienced the Extended Cut version of the game. This update fleshed out and differentiated the endings with additional narration and cutscenes added to the final mission. With the extended cut, the endings do feel substantially different, as represented by the epilogue sequence. To demonstrate this, I'm going to play a snippet from the Destroy, Control, and Synthesis endings for you to compare. Keep in mind that the end slides depicted in the epilogue will also vary depending on choices you made during the game, such as the genophage cure and the Geth-Quarian conflict. In the Destroy ending, Admiral Hackett narrates to provide an overview on the current state of the galaxy.
The war is over. The Reapers have been defeated. Against all odds, and in the face of the greatest threat this galaxy has ever known, we survived. We suffered many losses. The relays are severely damaged, but we won. This wasn't a victory by a single fleet, a single army, or even a single species. If this war has taught us anything, it is that we are at our strongest when we work together. And if we can put down our grievances long enough to stop something as powerful as the Reapers, imagine what we can achieve now that they are defeated. It will take time, but we can rebuild everything that was destroyed.
Compare this with the Control ending, where Shepard is transformed into an artificial intelligence.
Eternal. Infinite. Immortal.
The man I was used these words. But only now do I truly understand them. And only now do I understand the full extent of his sacrifice. There is power in control. There is wisdom in harnessing the strengths of your enemy. I will rebuild what the many have lost. I will create a future with limitless possibilities. I will protect and sustain. I will act as guardian for the many.
And finally, Edie narrates the Synthesis ending.
I am alive. All of us, synthetic and organic, have been changed. The war is over, and the Reapers are helping to rebuild, where once they threatened us with extinction. They now bring us the collective knowledge of the cultures that came before, taking our first steps into a new and wonderful future, where organics and synthetics can coexist peacefully. With peace across the galaxy and with unlimited access to knowledge, we can eliminate disease, poverty, and overpopulation. As the line between synthetic and organic disappears, we may transcend mortality itself to reach a level of existence I cannot even imagine.
Do these endings seem the same to you? Because they don't to me. To recap, in the Destroy ending, the Reapers are destroyed alongside all advanced synthetic life, including Edie, the Geth, if they weren't already destroyed over Rannoch, and even Shepard, owing to the cybernetic implants that keep the commander alive. However, Shepard will survive if you have 4,000 EMS or more. The Reaper threat is ended, but it's a Pyrrhic victory. In the Control ending, Shepard becomes the Catalyst. The commander's physical form dies, but he or she lives on as an artificial intelligence that uses the Reapers to rebuild society to the benefit of synthetics and organics, thus realizing the vision and goals of the Elusive Man. In the Synthesis ending, all organic and synthetic life forms are merged, even the plants. These new life forms are able to fully harness the collective knowledge of the Reapers and eradicate war, disease, poverty, and perhaps even death itself in a truly utopian galactic future. Shepard sacrificed himself to make this future a reality. Whether or not you find these endings satisfying is a separate discussion entirely, but the criticism that all Mass Effect 3 endings are the same just doesn't stand up to scrutiny. In the next video in this series, I'll be addressing the criticism that war assets don't matter and discussing whether or not that this is true. I'll link the video in the description when it's finished if you're interested in checking that out. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to Big Dan Gaming for more Mass Effect and RPG videos. Until next time, this has been Big Dan. I should go.